50 Cent may be known for splitting bars, but right now, the guy might end up on the hot seat for spitting lies. That's what rapper Memo 600 is threatening as 50 connects him to a murder in his new TV show. Of course, this might actually rank low on the list of legal troubles for him. In this video, we're going to cover his new beef with Memo 600 before looking at some of his past busts. First up, let's look at the current trouble 50 finds himself in. If you haven't heard of Hip Hop Homicides, it's a show that sees Van Lathan Jr. diving into the most curious cases of murder in hip-hop's history. While Van Lathan is the host, the most prominent person behind the camera is 50 Cent, whose G-Unit film and television company is a driving force behind the show. The final episode of the limited series, which aired on the 22nd of December, covered the murder of FBG Duck, a legend in the Chicago drill music scene. The rapper, whose real name was Charlton Weekly, was shot along with 2 others on the Gold Coast. 5 gang members were arrested by the Chicago Police Department in June 2022, and their trial is set to begin this very fall. But before that could happen, Hip Hop Homicides has weighed in. While profiling the case, the show connected Memo 600, and that obviously got the rapper's attention. Memo posted on Twitter that he was going to sue 50 for defamation of character, and demanded an explanation as to why these allegations were made in the first place. He also accused the show of chasing clout by making the accusations, which is gonna be a harder charge to make stick. Was Memo 600 actually involved in the murder? Well, he wasn't one of the people arrested 2 years ago, so we won't actually know until the trial or some other development in the story. Now, if Jackson goes to court over this, he'll definitely be in familiar territory. There are lots of rappers in the gangster rap genre, and many of them are accused of faking a persona. That accusation does not apply to Curtis, as he's had quite a history of criminal activities, especially back in the early days of his rap career. Fun fact, when Curtis wanted to do a tour in Canada in 2005, Toronto MP Dan McTeague strongly opposed the idea of letting him in. Indeed, he wanted to ban the rapper from the country, saying that Toronto and the rest of Canada didn't need that pro-gun violence message. Sure, he doesn't deal drugs or engage in gun violence anymore, but 50 Cent isn't even immune to white-collar crime like the one Memo 600 is accusing him of. So when 50 Cent raps about living on the wrong side of the law, he means it. Why don't we go ahead and crack open the rapper's rap sheet and look back on all the things he's gotten in trouble over in the past? Let's start with the very first time he was arrested at the age of just 19 years old. Curtis's backstory is really sad. He never knew his father, and his mother was a drug dealer who was murdered by her rivals when the boy was just 8 years old, later living with his grandparents. It was this background that made him decide he was gonna, in his own words, get rich or die trying. That's how he got into the drug business himself. He quickly established himself in the game, leaving high school and church to commit himself fully to dealing cocaine. Eventually, in June 1994, the dangers of his trade caught up to him as he wound up selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. That would be just the first of many arrests to come, and like we said, he was just 19 years old at the time. 3 weeks later, a police raid found heroin, cocaine, and a pistol in his home. He was really hosed then, as he earned a sentence of 3 to 9 years in prison. He was only able to escape his sentence by spending 6 months in a prison boot camp, where he also got his high school equivalency certificate. It wouldn't be long until 50 Cent found himself in the slammer again. On the last day of the year 2002, 50 and 4 of his buddies were hanging out in a car with completely blacked out windows. They also happened to be parked in a no-standing zone at the Copacabana nightclub. You'd really think the rapper would have known better than to do something so innocuously illegal in such a suspicious-looking car, because when the police then forcibly searched the car, things got a lot worse. Inside the vehicle, they found a 25 caliber handgun and a 35 caliber pistol, and this was in the state of New York, so that was bad news. The 5 of them were charged with counts of criminal possession of a weapon and were sent to prison. Jackson was able to bail himself out, though, with a $10,000 bond. Next up, the third arrest of Jackson's life came a few years after that. This is a case in which it might be possible to defend 50 for doing something that was technically a crime. During a concert at the Hippodrome in Springfield in May 2004, someone threw a water bottle at Curtis while he was on stage. Now, this is bad concert etiquette, and it's legally an assault, but in the opinion of the police, the rapper handled the situation poorly by jumping into the audience and attacking the person. 3 women were injured in the kerfuffle. 2 were kicked in the head and the face, and the third told authorities that the rapper decked her in the face. We don't know that she was the bottle thrower, but the possibility is there. Although he was facing a possible 2 years of jail time, he avoided a stint in the slammer by taking a plea deal. This locked him into 2 years of probation, during which he had to stay off drugs and submit to random drug screenings. He was also required to attend anger management counseling and film an anti-violence public service announcement. On top of all that, Jackson was on the hook for $3,000 in court costs and medical expenses for the women he hurt. Now, you might think 3 arrests are a lot, but we ain't done yet. In the early 2010s, 50 got into a relationship for the first time since his entanglement with Shaniqua Tompkins went down in flames. He was dating model Daphne Devarez, also known as Daphne Joy, and the 2 of them have a son together. Well, they aren't together anymore, and the incident we're looking at now suggests that's a good thing. Curtis Jackson found himself taking yet another deal, this time for 3 years of probation and 30 days of community service, and paying $7,100 in damages and $2,390 in fines for assaulting Daphne and destroying her property. Things can sound kinda sanitized when you use legalese like that, of course. What he really did was bust down Daphne's door and kicked her while trashing her furniture, chandelier, and TV. If you think he's getting off the hook easily, you should know that Jackson was in serious trouble this time around. His charges carried a maximum sentence of 5 years and a penalty of $46,000 had he been convicted on all charges. The deal, you can see, was really tempting. We've got yet another arrest from 50's life for you, and this is the silliest one yet. Did you know that in the Caribbean island of St. Kitts, there's an actual law banning public swearing? It's true. It's also the reason why St. Kitts is probably not a great venue for a rap concert, but some rappers can censor themselves. When 50 Cent performed PIMP at a show there in 2016, though, he didn't censor himself at all in front of the 40,000 people in attendance. For some of you watching, this might just be the arrest Curtis has ever had. The rapper did appear in court, but all he had to do was pay a fine. His representative clarified the situation to Billboard. Apparently, he was just hosting a show at St. Kitts, but was pressured to do a couple of songs as well. Alas, his DJ didn't have clean versions of the songs at hand. It might have been a better idea for him to say no at that point, but he gave the people what they wanted. The representative ended their statement to Billboard with a bit of sass, saying that the show was a great success, and he will make sure for future trips to St. Kitts that he leaves words in the United States. One more, guys. We promise this is the last one. This incident also took place in 2016, while Curtis happened to be passing through Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky International Airport. For some of y'all, this might be the most off-putting crime he's ever committed. While under the influence, take your guess as to what was influencing him, the rapper started accidentally dissing a janitor at the airport. The janitor was 19 years old, hearing impaired and autistic, and 50 must have really been under the influence because he recorded himself doing it and posted it on Twitter. Well, you can imagine what happened next. The family of the janitor, Andrew Farrell, threatened to sue the rapper for $1 million. Their temper cooled off a bit, and they figured a sincere apology would be good enough. What they didn't expect was that Jackson would make the apology to page 6, and it was only 51 words long. At that point, the family decided that he also had to donate $10,000 to the Autism Speaks charity. Sure enough, a donation was made to the charity by Martin Shkreli. Yes, the pharma bro made the donation. It wasn't until that happened that Curtis finally made a donation to Autism Speaks, donating $100,000 instead of what the Farrell family demanded. He also apologized to the family, settling the score between the two of them. We do wonder why he dragged his heels so much on the issue, but better late than never. That's it for today's video. Any 50 fans watching today? Let us know in the comments section below what you think of the Memo 600 accusations, and whether this long list of Curtis Jackson's arrests has changed your opinion of the man at all. But whatever you do, don't forget to click the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel, or we'll jump at you through your screen.